Hello, I'm actually on the toilet, and I decided, hey, today would be a really good day to do a podcast. You just did a podcast 2 days ago, you hippie. So it's fine. I can wait to upload this one. But yeah, I noticed that I wonder if everyone deals with this in the beginning. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But yeah, I'm very bad at recording and uploading videos. What I mean by that is I've recorded about 20 podcasts, and I have 3 on my channel. So this is beautiful. The day is beautiful. But a lot of those podcasts end up being me being crazy. And when I say crazy, you don't know the level of crazy that I mean. That's the kind of crazy I mean, baby. A little bit. Yeah. But so I have a very specific personality. You could say this. You could say this. It will be true. I do a lot of accents. I don't know why. And it's not like I'm trying to impersonate like other people's accents. Like I'll make up my own accent. Like this one. Whose accent is this? I don't know. It don't belong to a country. It don't belong to one. And it's ever changing. It's ever changing. You can't nail them down. You can't say, that's this accent. Because by the time you hit the nail with the hammer, it's already gone, man. It's already turned into a frog and dissipated into the fog of the earth. And the dew in the mist of the mountains makes Sierra Mist Mountain Dew. That's what I say. Anyways, we were talking to a bunch of people, and one of them just jumped out of nowhere, and he said, hey mate, your fly's down. I said, oh, shit, I thought my flies were flying in the sky. I didn't know that. And then I passed out, and the next thing I remember, I was being robbed by 5 bandits. It was definitely 5. Maybe there was a 6th one, but I'm pretty sure it was 5. I'm 90% sure that there was 5. And the 5th one, he took my wallet. And that annoyed me because I didn't have anything in my wallet. No ID, no money, no cards, no nothing. It was just a wallet. I actually carried it because it was a powerful symbol of how we don't need things to be the things we think they are, because I actually use that wallet as a camera stand sometimes. And funny story about camera stands, actually. I was standing on a camera stand and I found out I wasn't a camera. I don't know. This is the way my mind works. You have a thing, and the thing just flows on. And it's ever changing, but it's cycling. And so it's turning into itself, but it's flowing and being different things. And so it's disguised as really random words that I'm saying. But really, it's just I'm a reflection of reality when I do that, because I don't know if you've ever been in reality, but it's the same thing over and over again. But it's at the same time, it's always changing. You never come back to the same situation. It's always a different one, baby. Sometimes you're laying, and sometimes you're on probation. Sometimes you're addicted to masturbation. Sometimes you're a man. Sometimes you're a nation. But you're all experiencing the exact same thing over and over again. But it's always flowing, and it's always changing, and it's always growing. You know what I'm saying? This is the truth. I speak to you the truth right from the booth of my home in my room. Now that we have gathered our Zen and our universal concepts together, we can talk peacefully among the people. But yeah, sometimes I get a little crazy. And they're not all that crazy. A lot of them are crazy, but like you can understand them. And if you can understand everything I just said and what was all happening, like first go, you're amazing. let me hand it to you. You are an expert. You are an expert in poetic, metaphoric, artistic simulation theory. I don't know. Real stuff though. I did just get my hair done. We're just kind of flow and jump all over the place and we're gonna do that until I can land on a steady stream of consciousness and then ride that one out. But right now I'm just like it's raining, it's pouring, it's thundering outside. Some lightning strikes the water. Nuclear explosion and fractalizations of different raindrops that contain bacteria, all of them instantaneously mutating into their own beings, and they're all just exploding outwards from this infinitely small source, except there's an infinite amount of them, so you don't even know what that means. That's how my mind be sometimes, you know. I'm gonna take off. I hope you don't mind if I take off my shirts and put on a different one, or not put one on at all. I'll put on a shirt. Actually, I'll just take off this shirt. This shirt specifically has some history behind it, has some meaning, and I won't talk about it yet, but I will talk about it someday. And all you gotta know, this is the shirt I got when I was in percussion. In 8th grade, actually. And it's very important that it was 8th grade because percussion in 8th grade, very different than percussion in 10th grade. Very different feeling. Very different feeling. Just in general, me in 8th grade, very different person than me in 10th grade. And very different person from me in 11th grade. Who will I be when I'm in 12th grade? I don't know. I want to be a man. I will be a universe. Wait, I'm already a universe. What is the universe if not a god? I don't know. The God is the universe. The universe is the God. The God is his own creation. He is not separate from his creation, but he is also not limited by his creation. You understand me? You feel me? I'm serious? Alright, so my problem when I'm like this is I start spouting off I am a psychedelic. I've never done psychedelics, but I am one in these few moments. Because I've never done them, so I cannot tell you how psychedelics act. But, not firsthand, but secondhand, I've heard people describe psychedelics and psychedelic entities and how it is, and there's this crazy befuddlement. Oh my god, my hair is beautiful. This is the second time that I've done something like this. This is great. But anyways, so what I've heard from psychedelic entities is they're all crazy. They're all doing their ever morphing, changing thing. They spit out poetry. They spit out shit that you don't understand. You have to think about it and contemplate it. And this weird symbology that's trying to tell you something, but you have to kind of open your mind to listen. But when you do listen, it's the keys to the universe and the problems to. You can solve world hunger, and you understand how you're supposed to live and act, and then you sober up, and you're like, wow, that was a cool trip, and you just walk away. And the next time you trip, the mushrooms come back, they say, why didn't you listen to us? I need you to listen! And then you're like, and then you think that's a bad trip. That's not a bad trip. That's them telling you. That's them telling you what you need to hear. You need to integrate what you learn into psychedelic into the real life. And if you don't do that, then stop taking psychedelics, you dumb fuck. Okay? Anyways, I thought I was cool. I thought the craziness had ended. But no, it has not. It is very still prevalent. I wonder if so I am an energy sponge. I've noticed this about myself. If I walk into a room or if I'm somewhere, and first off, we're going to take science. Throw it out the window. Science is no longer a thing in this conversation. It's a thing, but it's a very important thing actually. And science and spirituality are they're together. They're a couple. And we will talk about my theory on couples later. But they're together. They're very strongly together. They are the same thing, in fact, because science, what it is you observe something, you question it, and you try to figure it out. And spirituality is you see something, you question it, and you try to figure it out. And it's literally the same thing, but you're observing two things. It's different classifications for different things. It's like saying that chocolate and bananas are not the same thing. They are not the same thing. You're right. They're chocolate and they're bananas, but they're both food. They're both consumable. And science and spirituality are both like forms of observation and exploration and going into the divine and reaching and see what you can find. You grab something out the portal and you open your eyes and you're like, is it something? You don't know. You don't know until you open your eyes. And that's Schrodinger's principle. That's not at all what it is. But, okay, anyways, I've noticed I'm an energy sponge. And what I mean by energy, I don't know. It's definitely not the scientific meaning of energy. You could call it vibe, you could call it aura, you could call it energy, you could call it spirit, you could call it soul. I don't know what you would want to call it, but you can call it whatever you want. I think by now, just by those words, you understand what I'm trying to say. But I'll walk into a room, and whatever energy is in there, I will reflect that energy, except, like, I have a Jacob twist to it. And so, like, you won't get what I'm saying. So, like, if people are acting a certain type of way around me, I think I'm calm now. If people are acting a certain type of way around me, I'm gonna act that same certain type of way, except like with my own twist. And I don't even do it intentionally. It's something I've done all my life, to my knowledge. I don't know how I was when I was 1, and I don't remember that stuff. But yeah, today is 420. It is April 20th, my guy, and you know what that means. There's a lot of people that are high as fuck. They are blazed out of their mind. They are stoned all the way to the Stone Age, baby. And I, in fact, am not. Look at my eyes. You can see I'm very much so a sober man. But there are a lot of people who are around me, not in my house, because no one's in my house, hence why I'm being this crazy and open about it. But there's people outside my house, I won't say where, everywhere, they're high. And I wonder if that high is like it's just like beaming through through the general area. And so I'm picking up on those vibes without even realizing it. Because, like, I don't know. That's really my theory. Hey, let's do some music. I like music. I don't know what's up, but we gonna do some music. It's probably gonna be some very bad and or bland music. But I don't know. I want to start a segment of this talky thingy where I do music every time. It doesn't necessarily have to be live music. It doesn't have to be a live performance. It don't have to be like, it can be whatever, and it don't even have to be music. It might be a quote. It might be a whatever. But I just want to share something that is not me talking. At least not in that present moment. But yeah. Oh, I like that. Ho. I like the minor. I like the major. I like the ooh. Let's see. Ho. Can it fall from there? Oh, it still can fall. That's beautiful. We gonna try to balance it. Can it balance? We gonna see. I like that. What's that chord progression I did? Very nice. I like it. Okay. That's good. You can meditate to that, man. Honestly, you can pick a chord, like any random chord. B, A, that one. Nope. What's wrong here? That's what's wrong. There. I was like, hold on. I could swear it was B flat, but that's not a B flat. Yeah. B flat major. You can meditate on that. And that can honestly just, any type of meditation can really change your mood. Have you ever heard of a hyped up meditation? It's a type of meditation. I invented it myself, actually. Not really. But I didn't learn it from anywhere, but I guarantee you it already exists. There's a lot of things like that where it's like, I didn't learn it from anywhere, but so like in my mind I invented it, but like it probably exists somewhere. And some things like that are what's the thing called? Quantum physics, that one. No, one time I was, when I was really little, the Big Bang Theory, I invented that, without, like, obviously it had already been invented, but, I was listening to Stephen Hawking, and I was, like, no joke, I was literally listening to Stephen Hawking when I was a little kid, and, like, he hadn't mentioned the Big Bang, but I remember he was saying something, and I had paused the video, because, like, I had this idea, I was like, whoa, that's really cool, hold on, and, he, actually, I've went back and watched the same video, he was not talking about the Big Bang, he was talking about something obviously related, it was, like, this sort of, expansion, and, like, the stars, like, kind of getting further away, but, like, my little, I think it was, like, 8 or 9, I was young, and I paused it, and I wrote down on a sheet of paper, I was like, what if everything was in one space at one time, and now it's going outwards? What if it hasn't been going outwards forever? What if it used to be in one place? And, like, obviously, like, now that I'm older, I'm like, congratulations, buddy. You want a cookie? And at the time, I would have said, yes, I want a cookie. I still want a cookie. If you want to give me a cookie, I'll accept the cookie. Except until after this year, I'm going vegan. So, then I can't have the cookie unless it's a vegan cookie. But, yeah. Turn off the computer. Is that a computer? What? Oh, hold on. By definition, would a keyboard, would that be a computer? I think so, because I don't know what the exact definition of a computer, that's what I'm asking, but well, I'm not asking what the exact definition is, but yeah, anyways, I'm really chilled out now. I was really hacked in the beginning, if you couldn't tell. I've scared the shit out of anyone. I want to talk about this while, because I'm going to do a video just explaining my art. It's going to be a very long video, and it's probably going to do 2 parts. But, there is this thing I've noticed with my sketchbook, and I want to talk about it so that I'm not, like, forced to talk about it. Well, so that I can save myself from having to talk about it later, because, like, it's, like, I'll probably talk about it at least briefly anyways, but, I don't want it to, like, add length, because I have this whole sketchbook that I have to go through, and then, which I'm not finished with it yet, but I'm about to be finished, and when I am finished, that's when I'm going to do the video. But yeah, I'm going to do that, and there's all the art on my walls, and then there's, the art in my portfolio, and then there's, yeah, and, like, there's all of that, and then, yeah, and then that's probably going to be the whole video. But that's a lot. Like, that is a lot. And so I want to get you familiar. So the sketchbook, the magical sketchbook, first sketchbook I've ever done in my life, actually. Like, I'd drawn in some before, but, like, I'd rip out the pages, or I'd, like, and, like, keep them for myself, where I'd only do, like, a picture or something. Like, I never saw it as, like, a book you're supposed to draw in and then, like, keep intact, and then, like, you draw in all the pages. Like, I've never done that. And, I finally did, and it's very therapeutic. But something I realized, and I did not do this intentionally, but when you first meet me, this is what you see. You see this crazy front. You see it crazy, and then when you, depending on the setting of where you meet me and stuff, obviously if, like, I'm in a meditation seminar, which I've never been to one, but I'm really intrigued to go to one, and definitely when I can live on my own and travel and stuff, that's going to be a thing. But, yeah, if you meet me on a meditation seminar, you're going to skip all the bullshit and get straight to page 2. But, when you first meet me, this is what you see. This chaotic mess. There's there's stuff going everywhere. Quack. There's naked people. There's eyes. There's like there's so much just stuff going on, and you're like, and it's like it's a shield. I've discovered that it's a shield, for myself. It's to protect myself from the other people, the people who are mean and that judge other people and that literally just speak negatively for a hobby, like. To pass the time, like, people talk badly about other people to their friends, and I find that, like, what the hell? Like, why would you ever do that? But, and I used to find myself doing the same thing, but now I, like, legit don't, and it confuses the hell out of me why people do. But, yeah, anyways, you move past that, and you get to see this side of me, which is the peace, meditation, like, yeah, you see, like, I want world peace, and, like, love, and happiness, and, like, yeah. And then after that, you start, like, seeing what's really important to me. And so, like, for this is, like, literally, and, like, keep in mind I didn't do this intentionally, so, like, the metaphor is not going to be perfect. But, yeah, X meant a lot to me. And he died, and that was very sad. And I drew this picture. I was by no means a great artist, and I still am not. But I've gotten better since then. But admittedly, this is a really good picture. But yeah, I did this of X. And so, yeah. And then, but so yeah, you get to see, like, what's important to me. And then afterwards, you can hear, like, my crazy ideas. But, like, this isn't crazy like the first page. It's intricate. It's more, like, it's definitely organized, but it's still, like, kind of crazy. And you get a little splash of, like, out in there. A bad technique and whatever. It's cool. And then you get, this is a picture of a duck I drew, and, like, I saw the duck in real life, and I tried to draw it, and, like, it's okay. I didn't have an eraser, though. That's one of the things that, like, I didn't like it. But yeah, there's a duckado, and so, like, that's kind of representative. Like, you'll get to see the way I see the world, and that's very true. And then hold up, that's the thing, and then I think that's oh yeah, and then you go through a lot of bullshit. Like, not bullshit, but, like, a lot of stuff. And it takes you a while before there's only one person who has reached this level. But you start seeing the things that make me suffer and, like, the pain I feel and the things that hurt. You don't really see that until you've known me for a while. And that's not even on purpose. Like, I don't actively hide it from people. It's just I don't show it because, like, I don't feel it for the most part. But when I do feel it, it is definitely like, you need to leave me alone so that I can sob in a corner for hours and I can contemplate this and I can come to terms with it and I can whatever. And by the way, if you don't get the reference, a lot of times I've noticed one of X's, I have 2 pages dedicated to X. I have 2 pages dedicated to literally nothing else in this thing. That is going to change because I'm about to do a few pages about God. And, like, I've already, like, there's a picture about this one. It's about the angels in heaven and stuff. And, like, that's kind of my prefix to Jesus and stuff. But, yeah. Anyways, I have 2 pages dedicated to X. And, yeah, I've noticed, like, through his speech pattern, something he would say a lot is, you understand. Like, you understand. And, like, the way he said it was very... I don't know how to describe it, because it's not like it's not like he was enforcing power, like, his own power, and, like, forcing you to, like, be his whatever. Like, he wasn't forcing you into anything, but, like, he just naturally kind of had this power. And it was and at least to me, it was very reflective when he said, you understand. Like, it was kind of a reality check, by the way. And, that's actually a quote by him. I'm writing a book. I don't know if I've mentioned that. I probably have, because I talk about the book all the time. But, like, since I've recorded 20 podcasts and only 3 are there, I don't know, like, what I've said and you guys have heard and what I've said and you guys haven't heard. So, like, forgive me in the beginning if I repeat myself a bunch. I've noticed Dakota of Earth shouts out my Bruda. I love him. Have me on your podcast. But, I love Dakota of Earth so much, and he does the same thing. Like, he'll, like, I don't know whether this is intentional or not. I almost hope it is, because if not, it's like, wow, he really thinks of this a lot, and he doesn't realize how much he thinks of it. But, in every episode of the podcast so far, he's mentioned how his, like, and I don't want to say this, like, because me saying it probably feels wrong. It feels wrong for me, but, like, hopefully, please don't get mad at me, Dakota. But he talks about how his stepdad drove off a bridge on his way back from cheating on his mom. And he didn't die, but, like, That's the last time he saw his stepdad. And yeah, like I've noticed he says it every single podcast so far, and I'm like, wow, that's beautiful. And granted, I'm behind 2 podcasts because I try to save up podcasts so that I can, because when I'm into somebody, I'm into them. And like, so when I'm into Joe Rogan, I will listen to Joe Rogan 24/7, 7 days a week until, not even that I won't even get burnt out of it. That's the thing. I won't get burnt out. It's just slowly I'll just stop. And then I'll like move on to Duncan Trussell. And like right now I'm in Duncan Trussell, where it's like Duncan Trussell, like everything is Duncan Trussell all the time. Except Russell Brand or someone was just on Joe Rogan's podcast yesterday, and that was very, very beautiful. And I'm listening to that right now. And I think I'm about to get back into Joe Rogan because I noticed myself going back through his stand-up. And usually like when I start like listening to people outside of like podcast context or music context, that means I'm going to get into their music or their podcast like in a second. So yeah, I'm probably gonna get real into Joe Rogan soon. But at the moment, I'm definitely Duncan Trussell all the way, baby. I love Duncan Trussell. Like, you don't know the levels of love I have for that creature. That creature is such a beautiful one, by far. Anyways, how are you? Guess what I have this time? I got Daaga. And you heard me right. Not agua. That's Spanish. Aga is Waka Waka. Waka Waka is a tribe of people, and this is something you will hear in my art video when I go over my portfolio, because I've talked about the Waka Waka deities before. And right now it is Passover, and so I kind of feel very bad about it, because it's definitely not making fun of Christianity, but it's like saying a joke when everyone's talking about, like, the Holocaust or something. It's like, you know that they don't mean it with ill intention, but, like, they don't understand the like, severity of what's going on, and so you just look at them, and it's just disgusting. And, like, especially because, when I talked about it, like, I admittedly, I was a Christian, definitely, but I was not, like, Christian. I was Christian, Hindu, Buddhist, and like I still am Christian, Hindu, Buddhist, and like whatever. I'm very I call it extended Christianity, but like right now I'm in, like how I just said I go through everything in phases. I'm very much so in the Christian aspect of that, like Jesus, and yeah, and like. So that's what it is. And so, like, just seeing, like, the fact that I wrote this and, like, it takes over... Because what I mean is, part of the Waka thing, like, story is that Jesus, when he was a kid, like, all those years where no one talked about it, like, those years that aren't mentioned in the Bible, what happened was he took two of his friends, and he walked over across the ocean back to the Garden of Eden, and one of them was named Wakike, and one of them was named Daviana, and they had a child named Jimmy, and it's not official. Like, I don't know whether the mother's obviously Jimmy, but I'm not sure whether the father is Jesus or Wakike. I want it to be Wakike, but I'm not sure. But anyways, they create that trinity, and then Daviana become like the mother, and like Jesus. Jesus goes back to the land, and Daviana and Wakike raise Jimmy, which is their child. I think I said that, but I'm not sure. They raise the child, which is Jimmy, and he's a lizard person, and the lizard person is from the last incarnation of the universe. These are like little puzzle pieces, and I will put the pieces together when I do my art video, because like it's a very much like this running sequence throughout all of my art. But in the last incarnation of the universe, everything was run by lizard people. That was like here's how it goes. So you have the Big Bang. Everything expands outward infinitely. And then, after a certain time, everything collapses into a single point, which expands out into another, which collapses, which collapses, and it creates this double helix, and the double helix forms the DNA of God, and God lives in a universe, and then the universe is just then an expansion, a contraction, an expansion, and a contraction, which creates a double helix, which is the double helix of God, which is and everything's an infinite fractal. And then you get the reality of like what God really is, and it's the infinite happening that cannot be defined by anything. All of that's great. Anyways, so in in our sequence and like in what we're doing, what we're living in right now, it was previously the lizard people, and they were the incarnate beings, and like and so one of them was brought into life via it was brought into this universe via like the people, because the people, Wakike and Daviana, like the God it's not God, but like the, for lack of a better term, God, capital G-O-D, or just G-O-D. I like just G-O-D, not capital G-O-D. They all have different meanings, but anyways, so there's Waka, and he put Jesus gives Wakike the Waka spirit, and there's Davi, and Jesus gives Daviana the Davi spirit, and so they come together and the spirits merge, and it creates this portal that allows Jimmy to go through, so because he's also he's been in this universe before, because the thing is, I'm just explaining the whole thing, I'm sorry, you just get insight into my mind, and anyway, so what happens is there's a bunch of elves on this planet called Wapania. This just shows you how much I've thought about this, by the way. But there's this planet called Wampania, and so what happened in the creation of this universe was, in the collapse, when the last universe was collapsing, there were a few, the lizard people, the geniuses, they figured it out. This is the prime of their consciousness. So what they did is they stored themselves, there's 4 of them, they stored themselves in a little capsule, and they, it was outside of time, outside of space, and so they popped back in when the new universe formed. And so they took, all of the matter and all the mass that, and it was in this giant planet, and this planet is called Wampania, and they started life on the planet, and it was in the form of, raccoons, which turned into elves, and then da-da-da-da-da, and, then they left, but someone had to keep the portal open, and for the other 3 to go in, and so that one had to be, the 4th one had to get left behind. The 4th one was Jimmy, and he opened the portal, and then the whole thing collapsed, and then life started, and then asteroid hit, and then all different life spread out throughout different planets. You got panspermia, and that's great. And then you got to Earth, and then Jimmy just kind of does his own thing for a while and everything, and then he's essentially summoned when Waka and Davi, which they're not God, they would be gods to us, but really they're just higher level entities, but they're definitely not on the scale of God, capital G-O-D, and capital G-O-D is the thing that the double helix makes. And then capital G, capital O, capital D, that is the all happening, the God. And hopefully this all makes sense to you, by the way. If it doesn't, then I'm sorry. What the fuck? I accidentally played, I meant to, that's what I meant to do. But anyways, yeah. So my throat. I need more aga. That's how this all started, by the way. I just said aga. And so where are we at? Jimmy's summoned, and he doesn't, there is no baby child form. It is, but, since Jimmy, the entity, was, inside of the womb, and, he was summoned inside of there, so, he came out a lizard person. Literally this human, and this human had sex, made love, out comes a lizard. And so, yeah, and then they start their own tribe of people, and that tribe of people is called the Waka Waka. And Jesus goes back to the people and he like teaches them and like gets their shit together. And when he dies, the 3 days of Passover, he was spending 1 day meditating and like teaching Waka, teaching Davi, teaching Jimmy, and then the 4th day he came back and he was resurrected and whatever. And so they have this perfect society of people that is living, and they are perfectly righteous, they are perfectly one with God, and they fulfill God's prophecy, because the Christian God, which is also just a higher level entity, because I believe in fractal, and like also this is at the time, this isn't now, but and now I'm like kind of weird on my beliefs. I don't really know what definitively I believe in. I definitely do believe in the Christian God, but I don't know how much of the Christian God we filter and how we perceive, because it's been filtered by our minds and our culture, and how much is like really it, and like in reality I don't believe that he cares about a lot of the stuff that we make him out to believe. Well, we make him out to care about, but that's just my 2 cents. I've prayed many prayers hoping that I don't like hoping for whatever God that there really is, to understand that I owe my allegiance to him, and whatever I pray to, whatever I'm doing, I am doing that towards him. I just don't know what him is, and so please do not send me to hell. Please acknowledge the fact that I am yours. And if I knew 100% certainty that you were you, I would serve you, and that's what I'm doing. Like I am serving what I believe to be God. Because I believe, okay, so I believe, apparently, we're just talking about God. I think I talked about God last time too, I'm not sure. But, yeah, so I believe in different forces. So there is the force of love, and right now we're going to my real beliefs, not my conceptual universe of Jacob the Boss 888 and Lizard Land and all that thing. We're talking to my real beliefs right now. I do believe love is a very real concept. I do believe peace is a very real concept. I believe destruction is a very real concept. And there's like real concepts. And so the manifestation of those concepts could be called gods. And that like... because there is the concept of creation, and creation would be like the creation God, and then there's love, and there's the love God. Whether these are physical entities, I have no idea. Whether they really exist, I don't know. Whether there's just abstract concepts and we can call, and like the God itself doesn't exist, I don't know. Whether it is one God who possesses many traits, I don't know. But yeah, so there's these different concepts, and God, wait, I actually did say this, because I was talking about the infinite form, because God is this infinite thing that there's no way in fucking hell that we could conceive. We cannot understand what God is, and because it's infinite, and like, just, I think I already went into this, like how fucking huge infinity is. You can't conceive that. And so, like, it is all one thing, but these concepts that we would call God are all part of the real God that we cannot understand. Even if we wanted to, we could not form an image of what it is, because it's like what I was talking about at the beginning of this video. It's like ever changing, like it's always flowing into new and branching out into new different things, but at the same time it's the same thing going over and over again, but it's just a part of a bigger whole, and like it's all of this, so like we can't understand it. And so, but what we do understand is the small concepts. So we're like, okay, love, peace, destruction, da-da-da-da-da, and we can cling to those. And I worship the God, the concept of love and forgiveness and peace, and like anything that like and I respect destruction. Trust me, I do respect destruction. And I also don't believe in good and evil. I believe that out of these concepts and out of consciousness and whatever, you can create goals. And when you have goals, that's when you get good and bad. Because if the goal is to a good thing would be, if you're a drummer, you'll understand, specifically someone like DCI, you'd get this. But if your goal is to write an album, one of the smartest things and you have writer's block, the smartest thing you can do is just start playing. and just do random shit like that. But just go hammer at it, whatever. But if you're in drumline, completely different goal, and the last thing you should do is just play random shit. Like if you're so, all right, play eights. Da 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 da. You're cut. You are gonna get cut so fast. It's not even believable. And so yeah, so like. You see what I'm saying? The same exact thing is good in one scenario because there's one goal. But it's bad in another scenario because it's a different goal. And so good and bad are only relative to goals. And so the concept of good and evil in the Bible really comes out of in the Lord's Prayer there's Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Thy will be done. If you don't understand what that means, it's saying that I want your will to be done. I want what you want to happen. Have that happen. I don't want what I want. Like, what I think I want is based off of, like, monkey instincts and evolution and, like, the world and society around me and what my parents have taught me. It's so diluted. It's like, I can't even understand what I want, what's good for me. Like, going back to the psychedelic metaphor, like, a lot of people have, like, they want good trips. They want, yay, pretty colors. Yay, love. Oh, yay, this tree it's saying it loves me, and it's sprouting its roots into the core of the earth, and just, and, like, and it feels one with everything because everything is just atoms, and, the universe, and, like, you feel this euphoria, and, like, you make love, and you become the other person, and you're just this one entity in hyperspace. You consider that a good trip, and, like, definitely, yeah, sure, but I want a bad trip. Challenging trip would be more accurate because, like, obviously I've never taken psychedelics, so this is definitely someone who's just, like, spouting out their ass. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about, like, but really on some level I do, and I think anyone who has taken psychedelics, like, spiritually will at least understand what I'm trying to say and either say, like, congratulations, like, yeah, or they'd be like, I see where you're going, but that's not what you want. But I'm pretty sure they would, like, I'm pretty sure I'd get pats on the back for wanting a bad trip, but, like, I want a bad trip, a challenging trip, because I want something I can meditate on for months, for however long. I want something that's genuinely going to convince me to change my life, and, like, change my actions after the trip, not just not like, oh, I want to do this, and, like, I want something that's going to scare me. Like, if that's what it takes, fuck it, fine. I want something that's going to scare me into doing God's will, not my own, if that's what it takes. If I can have it just by being rewarded and, like, feeling love and knowing what it feels like and wanting to spread that to everyone, fine. But, like, the thing with that is I already want that. I already want to love everyone. I already want, like, peace. I already want that. But with that being said, my lifestyle has not dramatically changed to match that of Jesus. And whether you're Christian or not, I don't, like, really care. It doesn't really matter. Jesus lived, in my opinion, Christian or not, the most perfect life anyone could live, because it's self-sacrificial, it's giving to the people, it is love, it is forgiveness, it is all of this, and that is something I wish to be, but realistically I'm not. And, like, part of it is I just don't see, part of it is I don't see the opportunities for me to give and do all that, but part of it is just because I'm intentionally closing my eyes. And I don't want to close my eyes, but I do want to close my eyes. So, like, if it takes psychedelics, fuck it. I want someone to rip my eyelids off and make sure I see. And, like, I'm forced to look at it because I want God's will to be done. And, so yeah, I don't forget how this all started, but I forget how I got exactly onto that. But, I was talking about good and bad. And, so God's will is essentially the will of, because when they're referring to that, they are referring to what I would call the concept, or like the God of love, the God of peace, the God of forgiveness. They all consider it one God. Whether it is one God, up for debate. Whether there is one God, up for debate. Whether there is a God, up for debate. If there isn't a God, up for debate. Because, and I don't even think it's up for debate. Like, I think it's up for debate whether the physical entity really exists. If, like, this entity we can call God, like, is it the creator entity? Like, what does this entity do? Is it all of these that we attribute to it? Is it more? Is it less? Is it, and like, there's also the thing, like, I do believe God, I do believe Satan or Lucifer or the devil or whatever you want to call him, he is definitely a God in his own right. He is definitely on that scale, but just in the opposite direction. And since I'm like obviously, like, not obviously, but earlier I was talking about how I am definitely in the Christian aspect, so it really hurts me. Like, just saying that sentence is like giving Satan the power of God. Like, how could you do that? But like, and like, I don't know. Like, I just genuinely don't know. Is Satan as powerful as God? I don't know. But I do know, well, I don't know, but I firmly do believe that there is a manifestation of all love and peace and happiness, and there is a manifestation of all pain and suffering and hunger and pleading and, like, all of that. And I believe that we lie somewhere on a spectrum, and I believe that, that there is an ultimate, like, there is a peace, because there's, like, God, like, which is, like, the good sides of God, and there's the bad concepts. Like, there's the good concepts and there's the bad concepts. And ultimately, they form this higher God, which is higher God. Higher God. Like, understand that all these words that I'm using are placeholder words. They are not, like, I just don't know any better words to use, but they are not, like, probably, the image that I'm putting into your head is probably not the one I'm trying to paint. But, yeah, there's the higher God, which is just peace, which is infinite nothingness. It's just calm, still. It's what the Buddha would have reached, and the Buddha is definitely not God, but the Buddha could have reached a place of God, and like, this place could be a place of God. It could be apart from God, depending on what you mean by God. And like, that's what I mean. I asked a question, if there was a fourth dimensional entity who kickstarted our entire universe and everything in it, and he created us all, but he's completely unaware, like he just did it by breathing or something, and he didn't even realize that he did it, or that we even exist, and he can't interact with us or anything like that, is he still God? And that question, the real like, think about that for a second, but the real question being posed are, what are the implications? When I say God, what are you thinking of? And, I like using the word concept better, but I refer to God, like, I refer to it as God more often than concept, which I don't know why that is, but that's like, I like cannabis a lot more than marijuana, but I say marijuana, well, I say weed, but, and I think Mary Jane is the most accurate, but like, to just give me some Mary Jane, like, that doesn't, like, I'm gonna get high on Mary Jane, like, that doesn't sound right. Cannabis sounds too professional, but that's my favorite name for it. And marijuana sounds very like I like the name, but it's not my name of choice. But yeah. This is a good talk. I talked for fucking 50 minutes. That's crazy. I didn't even mean to do that. I mean, I had that intention, but I definitely thought it would be harder than this. I didn't think it would just fly by and I'd reach this flow state like I did, but I'm happy that I did. Tomorrow is Easter, and hopefully, so my girlfriend is not necessarily Christian, but not necessarily like atheist, not necessarily Buddhist. She's not worried about religion. She's worrying about her life, which respectfully so, like, rightly so. Depending on where you're at in life, like, that's what you need to be doing, and like, she's doing the right thing for her. And I do not believe that God is sitting up there offended, like, like, how dare you pursue this life? But like, because he would understand the life that she's had up until this point, and the reason why she considers this earthly life to be more important than contemplating God. And so, and that's my thing, like, I don't think, like, I really do have a hard time believing that God sits there and he, like, because when we say judge, like, what we mean is we don't see the whole picture. Just as humans, we cannot imagine seeing the whole picture. But, like, a true perfect judge, like God, like what we paint God out to be, it would be... He would be beyond. Like, he wouldn't... I honestly have trouble thinking that he would send anyone to hell. Because if he's truly just, he's taking into consideration everything. Every single thing. That means he's able to acknowledge that you came into this world knowing nothing. You just had pure instinct, and just from what happened to you, like, exactly how you felt, how every situation made you feel. And I don't believe that, like, I find it insanely hard to believe that there's a God who's like, who could understand that and still not send someone to hell. Still send someone to hell. And I also find it insanely hard to believe that there's this omnipotent, omniscient, whatever, omni God that isn't able to see every aspect justly. And, yeah, but that's just my 2 cents. It's whatever. But anyways, yeah, I have my girlfriend. She's not necessarily Christian, but she's not necessarily not Christian. And tomorrow's Easter, and it's Easter Sunday, and obviously I'm going to church because I'm a Christian as fuck. Like, I'm very Christian. I am painted on your face type Christian. And yeah, so there's a 90% chance that she's going to church with me tomorrow. And, like, if it's completely up to her, she would go. But, like, there's, like, transportation, which that's the only, like, variable. But I'm pretty sure, like, she's able to go. And, like, that's huge for me. Like, that is huge for me. Like, just understand, like, because, like, there's context to it and everything. And it's, like, the fact that, like, that makes me very happy. And it's just, like, I kind of wanted to share that. Like, I don't know why. Like, and it's not even like I get an ego boost, like, yeah, I'm a good Christian because I converted somebody. Yeah. Number one, I didn't even convert someone. Like, they're not fully on board, and they weren't fully off board when we started. And so there's no conversion. Get that ego out of here. Get whatever, like, there is no ego attached to it. And, like, I don't believe that you can go egoless, but, like, this specific thing, it's not an ego attached thing. I don't get pleasure knowing that I brought her to church or anything. Like, it makes me, like, the gesture, at very least, the gesture of her doing so is so monumental, and, like, it means so much to me that she would do that, and it just makes me very happy. I love her so dearly. We're going to talk about love some other time, but yeah, it's been 54 minutes, and I've been talking. And, yeah. Love each other, love yourself. Love is the most important thing. Jesus said it himself. I couldn't agree more. If there is one reason I believe in Christianity, is that. I cannot quote the exact verse. I probably should be able to, but I can't. God says, I think it was peace, wisdom, or I think it was like justice, wisdom, or whatever. And, like, there are 3 truths, and and the most important of these is love. And if there's one thing if there's one phrase that could sum up why I'm Christian, it's that one. And I do believe that it's the most important thing, and I love loving, and I love the concept of love, and I love that you would listen to me. Thank you so much. You are beautiful, my dear child, and I can't wait to see you again. But until next time, Ram Ram. Let's see if I can say it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Amen.